Good morning.
Welcome back to our Live from the Greenhouse series. Today, we're going to be talking about one of our most common questions, especially right now, early on in the greenhouse season. Everybody's asking this
They are.
because our weather is so wonky.
When can I plant?
Yeah, when is it safe? And what's the answer?
I wish I knew because I'd be planting up my own yard at the same time.
Yeah, we would totally. I mean, we just had snow. It was snowing and it was 83 degrees. So
And then it dropped again.
our weather's, in the upper Midwest. We're in northern Wisconsin, but I think for everyone in the Midwest, this is a common question. So it's not something that's uncommon for you people, but what's the right answer? Well, we're going to try to dive into that.
If I knew the exact answer,
Yeah.
I would change and be a meteorologist.
Yeah.
Well,
But
they're not right all the time either.
yeah, and we've gotten stung before we planted in mid-June because we always kind of we plant our yard and our display pretty much last.
I pretty much use
What's left over.
over.
Yeah, and I remember that one, it was maybe 3-4 years ago, June, I don't know, middle of June.
It was middle of June.
And it dropped to not just frost, not like a 32, 31 degrees, it dropped to 20. And that did it. Everything died. And so when is it safe to plant? Well, you really have to kind of go by what's the historical in your area? When do the old timers, those old guys with bib overalls, the old ladies, when are they planting? Talk to them
With the
because
mama dresses?
yeah, because they've got some serious miles under their belt and they know. There's a lot of information, a lot of the historical data, and you can, like, one of the great resources, first off, knowing your zone. What zone are you? We're 4B. And I think we're kind of right on that border of there's little like microclimates too. Like we're 4B, but boy, west of here, if we have,
You only have to go 20 minutes west of here.
yeah, it's such a change in the weather one of our long-term employees. She lives like west of our town, and if we have 34 degrees, she'll have 26. And that's a big difference. That's a
Huge.
difference of like not frost to that's a pretty hard freeze. So you really have to know your area.
Our area typically is around Memorial Weekend, if not June 1st.
Yeah, and
That's
so
typically when we say, okay, it's probably safe at that point.
old time gardeners.
Always
yeah.
check your weather forecast though,
Yeah.
because that'll give you a
look
good
at that-
indication.
Look at that 2-week outlook.
So
But
like
yeah,
for
June
us,
1st
I'm very
is-
anxious because we have all these huge, big baskets, and we put a lot of them on our own building. And I'm like, when can we get these out of the greenhouse?
And I'm not, I gotta haul these up on a ladder. So
They're not coming down. Like,
no,
once they're up,
they're staying up, freeze or not. I don't care because they're heavy, and I'm not crawling up and down on a ladder to. It's gonna freeze tonight. I'm gonna
And
bring them in.
it's kind of like the big beacon sign to everybody in our area of Sharkey's put their baskets out.
Yeah.
And they're not out during our selling season because it's too cold yet.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to have you put them up. We talked about it. And maybe
Not yet. There's
maybe like Thursday, Friday.
I think after Thursday for us here locally, but
Yeah.
that's hopefully we'll be in the clear, and we're coming up on our Memorial Day weekend, so we'll see. I don't want to get stung. I don't have more of these for us. So
But these petunias do take there are plants that will take colder temperatures.
oh yeah.
And then
yes.
there's some plants that
they'll give up the ghost early.
absolutely do not plant them early.
So let's well, first off, I want to give some resources. So where can you find when is that last typical historical frost date in your area? The Farmer's Almanac online, so you can just type in almanac.com and you look at their they have a date. You just can put in your zip code or your city and state, and it'll give you that historical last frost date. So after that, you should be able to plant in your area. So that's a good resource.
Is it always foolproof?
No, not at
it's
all.
not,
But it
because-
gives you a guideline and something to kind of go off of. So, is it foolproof? No, but it will kind of get you in that category or in that area. So using that information is a great resource. So that almanac.com, and you plug in your zip code and find out. For us, it was June 1st.
Oh, was it?
Yep. Now I've looked at other places, other areas, and it had a much earlier, it's right around that Memorial Day.
What
so
is
a week
your
or two.
area? Like,
Yeah.
tell us what in your neck of the woods.
Maybe you have
Part of the
no idea
country.
what we're talking about because you're like, I could put my garden in January. I was looking at Lake Orlando. Orlando's last frost date, January 30th. We're up to here in snow in January 30th, and it's just getting going.
So tell us in your area, what is your zone, and what is your typically when you start planting and leaving your plants outside?
Yeah, that last frost date.
A lot of people that were coming up from like the Iowa area, they're like, "Oh, we always plant by Mother's Day weekend."
Yeah,
We'd love that.
We had snow.
We did.
But we're northern Wisconsin. So, when is that last frost date for you? Okay, let's talk a little bit about, we're going to do a little segue here into acclimating those plants. Okay, so you've purchased hanging baskets, you've purchased some garden plants, those people come in and get those great big tomatoes, whatever. Remember, you need to acclimate those plants because in a greenhouse, even though I have the heat off now, and on some of those cold nights, we're trying to get these plants acclimated to living outdoors. They're greenhouse grown, so we need to take some time, and it might take a week or two to get them acclimated to the real outdoor weather. I can't get it cold enough in the greenhouses anymore, so I've got the heat off, but petunias can actually handle really, really cold in the fall when that temperature is stepping down gradually.
That's a good point.
That's different than going from this hasn't seen anything under say 45, 50 degrees and then sticking it outside into maybe your nights are 35 degrees. Well, that's a big temperature swing going from that at night to real outdoor temperatures.
And they'll panic. They'll freak out.
Yeah, so we've got to do it slow. Get them out during the day, and if there's any question, bring them inside.
That goes for your vegetables. That goes for all of it.
Yeah, and there's some vegetables that are extremely susceptible to dying off. Cucumbers. Don't chance it with cucumbers. It doesn't have to be 32 degrees. It can be 40 for a cucumber, or potato vine.
Yes.
Potato vine is very susceptible to, even in the greenhouses, I'll see some days where it's cold, that potato vine's looking like this. Now in the sun, it'll come back, but it does not like anything under 40 degrees.
And that's also going to be one of the potato vine and cucumbers are going to be one of them that are the earliest to tear off in the fall.
Oh yeah.
Because they don't like that cold.
Yeah.
But going back to acclimating them, you're going to have this as cold as we can get it, but there's only a certain it's a greenhouse.
Not kicking on the air conditioners at night. There's no such thing for a greenhouse.
So what should they do if they're buying the plants? If you're buying them later in the season, like in June, your nights are gonna be fine.
Yeah.
There's no acclimation. But when you're buying them early, what should they do, or how should they acclimate them?
You're gonna have to play that game of bringing them in at night into a garage or somewhere safe. And I might say that in hashtags because safe might not be safe at all.
Oh, I just had a guy come in last week, maybe Saturday, and he brought a flat of marigolds that he bought the week prior.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What happened? Like, what? Mine don't look like yours. What happened?" And I went out there and I took a look in his car. They froze. They were all
black.
Yeah. Well, they weren't black, but they were definitely touched with. They got too cold. And he's like, "I had them in my garage," and I'm like, "I understand that, but we did get down to 20 degrees one day, and your garage probably dipped below that freezing point."
Well, it was obvious that it did.
It did.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Okay, well, there's some plants that greenhouses tend to have a lot even further on in the season. Marigolds would be one of them. So unless you're wanting like a specific variety of flowers or very specific something like marigolds, or there's some stuff that greenhouses are long on, and ask them, do you think that you normally have this into the end of May. And we'll tell you, that's one that normally goes faster. There's always that chance. But yeah, it was, he should have brought them in the house.
Yeah, and same thing with, we have one of our customers that bought one of those beautiful Lofos hanging baskets that we had. And I feel bad because opening day for our greenhouses, they were in line for almost 2 hours before we opened to get those Lofos hanging baskets because we sold out in 38 minutes. And guess what? Here we roll back and he shows up last week with the Lofos hanging basket that he stood in line for, and it's looking bad. So we're doing a little Help My Hanging Basket series on that plant. He's like, I brought it in. It was in the garage. Yeah, but it dipped down to 20 degrees. If your garage is not heated, or if it's susceptible, and Lofos are susceptible to that cold weather, if it got to 29 degrees, and it's obvious. The plants, the vines, and it's black on the leaves, so it froze.
Do not drop plants off at our door.
No. We're not a sick hospital for you to just bring it. Like, I already killed my hanging basket. What can you do? Well, we'll see you next year. Try again. This was a special case. I'm like, I'll do a video on this, but I'm gonna roast you. I'm gonna call you up. No, I didn't. So,
but you will.
Yeah, I will anyway. But so when it comes to acclimating plants, we have to play that game of bringing it in and out, and get it out during the day. But if it's gonna be even close, remember, the weatherman's not always right. So like, it's gonna be like 38 degrees. And you wake up in the morning and it was 29. Don't play it, make sure, bring it in. So don't chance it. But in our neck of the woods, we've got to kind of play that game of bringing them out during the day, get them in the sunshine, bring them in at night because it's gonna be really cold tonight. So you do need to acclimate those plants because they're going from a greenhouse to the real outdoor weather, and they have to be able to survive that, and it just takes some time. It's a process.
You start lowering the temperatures in our greenhouse
pretty early on
in April to try getting them to more realistic of what they're going to be outside.
This year it was very late April because we had so much snow, we had so much cold weather. I'm like, I can't shut the heat off. It's gonna be 20 degrees tonight. I can't just shut the heat off. So it was very late for us with that process. So
excellent.
So that's a few pointers. Watch those sensitive plants, especially. You might just have to
coleus.
Get those plants acclimated to being outdoors, and use the resources available to you for that. Maybe we can not have to answer this question 10,000 times of when can I put my stuff out? I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, or wherever our customers.
Right.
That almanac.com is a great resource to plug in your zip code, and it'll tell you.
We do have a lot of new people coming in that have moved from other areas, and they're now moving to our area. And that shock of like,
you what?
Why can't I plant it outside yet? Like, I've always planted it outside. You have to remember your area and where you move to. Is going to be very different.
I remember specifically, everywhere. This is when we still had the floral shop open, and a lady came in. It was early spring, and she was so happy. She moved up from the south. She moved up from, I don't know, maybe Tennessee or whatever, moved to northern Wisconsin, and she was so happy. She came in, and it was like April 1st, and she's like, I put my garden in. I'm like, you what? She's like, I had planted my whole garden. Maybe we had like an early spring. I'm like, no. We've got 2 months before you can do that. She's like, really? Like, oh, you're gonna find out real fast. She was all happy and like, no, not in our neck of the woods. So June 1st for us.
All right, with that,
we have a new Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer retailer that we want to announce, and that is Nick's Greenhouse in Parkston, South Dakota. So Nick's Greenhouse in Parkston, South Dakota. That is one of our newest Beat Your Neighbor Fertilizer retailers.
So if you aren't near that area, you can go on the beatyourneighbor.com and go to the retailer locator map, and see where there is a retailer near you to be able to pick up a jar of fertilizer. If there's not one near you, and please, if there's one near you, please go to them. Tell them we said hello. You know, go pick up your jar from them. We'd really love that. Support your local business. If you can't, then order it online and we can ship it to 48 states. No, we cannot ship it to New Jersey. No, we cannot ship it to California. Those are our two or District of Columbia.
Yeah.
We get asked that a lot. And it's like, they're like, I can't get it. Well, you're correct.
Correct.
So
why?
In 48 states, we can ship it to you. Otherwise, please go into the greenhouses that carry us and support them locally.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
With that, on with our day.
Off with our day. All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.